Part 3. We are going to be discussing page 2 of the W-4 instructions in this final portion of our training session. Now, as you can see at the top of the page, the first portion of our worksheet here is called Deductions and Adjustments Worksheet. And number 1 begins to ask you for an estimate of your 2014 itemized deductions. This starts to ask you to estimate home mortgage interest, charitable contributions, state and local taxes, medical expenses, and so forth as you walk through here. And then it starts to talk about having an income of over $300,000 and so forth based on the level that you are qualifying under, whether it's head of household, single, married filing separately, whatever your filing status might be. I'm going to tell you that if you are itemizing your deductions and you are this detailed with your tax return, then you do not need this video, okay? So I am not going to walk through this with you because this is something that your tax advisor is very, very likely already working with you on, okay? And this is not something that we can really even address on such a broad basis as a video of this nature. What I can say is if this is the first year that you will be itemizing deductions of the nature that are listed here in question 1, then what you should do is go ahead and head out to whomever you are going to use for your taxes this year, whether it's an accountant or you're planning to go down to H&R Block, whomever it is. Go and get some information straight away on how your itemization is going to go so that you can come up with the number for question 1, and then questions 2 through 10 are going to be very easy from that point forward. They're very straightforward, as you can see here. But question 1 is the big one, okay? So you have to come up with a number for question 1, and there's just no way I can help you with that, okay? So once you have done that, then take a look at the information that it gives you, and you will be able to see if it makes sense once you get down to line 10, and it advises you at that point on how many allowances you should be putting on line 5. Now, if you get to line 10 and it says to put some crazy number of allowances on line 5, then again you will want to ask your tax advisor, does this make sense for what I'm doing, and will I really be okay when I file my taxes? Because if it's telling you to use 11 or 12 or 8 allowances, you really want to be careful. Like I said, the higher the number, the less tax that is going to come out. So you don't want to get yourself into a situation where you're going to be owing the IRS a lot of money. Okay, so we just want to keep that one going for you there. Okay, let's look down where it says 2 earners, multiple jobs worksheet. This will apply to more of you. And again, this could be one that gets a little tricky, so we just want to take a quick look here as well. It asks us in question 1 to enter the number from line H on page 1 or from number 10 above. And so we're going to just think about line H from page 1. Now, if you remember line H from page 1, that was the line that gave us 11 allowances. And I advised you that that may not be the smartest thing to do. So let's just go ahead and put in 11 though, since that's what it came up with on our worksheet. Then it tells us in number 2 to find the number in table 1 below that applies to the lowest paying job and enter it here. However, if you're married filing jointly and wages from the highest paying job are $65,000 or less, do not enter more than 3. Okay, so let's go ahead and look down at table 1, and let's say that it asks us for the lowest paying job, and let's say the lowest paying job is between 26 and 33,000 a year, which is probably, in the zone somewhere. So that would be the number 4. But if the wages from the highest paying job are less than 65,000, don't enter more than 3. Well, according to the median wages that we earn in the United States, less than 65,000 would make sense. So it says we could enter 4 here possibly, but let's just go ahead and enter the 3, okay? Because that is what our statistics would show for earners in the United States. Now, line number 3 says, if line number 1 is more than or equal to line 2, then subtract line 2 from line 1. So we want to just look back up here and make sure. So definitely it's more than. So we want to subtract here and we'll get 8. So 11 minus 3 is 8. Okay? So on number 4, enter the number from line 2 of this worksheet. So that was, so that is a 3. And then enter the number from line 1 of this worksheet. Well, that was an 11. And then subtract line 4 from 5. Well, that is going to be a 0. Okay. Find the amount in table 2 below that applies to the highest paying job and enter it here. Okay, so we said the highest paying job made less than 65,000 in our little scenario that we're doing here. So let's go ahead and put $590. Okay, so $590. And then multiply line 7 by line 6, and that is a 0. And then divide line 8 by the number of pay periods remaining in the year. Well, that's also going to be a 0. And so it's telling us that we don't need to have any additional money withheld from our paycheck. Okay? Now, that's good news. If there had been a number after we went through this entire scenario listed here, that would mean that we're not paying enough money according to the information on the earning tables that we have listed here, and we would need to be holding extra money out on line 6 so that we could meet our tax responsibility. So this is what this worksheet is sort of giving us a double check on. Okay, so according to this, even with our 11 allowances that we're withholding, by looking at what we're actually making every year with the highest and the lowest, it looks like we're still okay and we're in the zone. Now, even though it looks like we're okay on paper, I would still advise you to watch the money that's coming out of your paycheck. Look at the money that you think that you're going to owe on a regular basis to the IRS. And if this is a new job or you're making changes to the W-4 that are different than what you've had in previous years, compare it out and make sure that you feel comfortable that when tax time rolls around, you're going to be square with the IRS, because the last thing that you want to do is make a change to your W-4 that you end up regretting and having to write a check to the IRS. So this will be something that you can kind of do a double checking on with your worksheet. But like I mentioned before, that 11 is a very high number, and it can be a very scary number depending upon the amount of money that you do make every year. So the fact that we chose lower income on the tables helped us out. But if we had chose higher numbers for our income, then we may have ended up owing some money here when we got down to line 9. So run the numbers and play with them and see what your income turns out, and it's possible that you may have a different outcome. based on your household. Okay, so this is how you would walk through the last section of the instructions, and finally, hopefully, you will be able to come to a decision for the bottom part of page 1, how you want to complete your W-4 and turn it into payroll. Hopefully, you will be successful and have a nice tax return come April. Thank you for tuning in to this training session. Please remember not to ask questions of your payroll department because they cannot answer them for you. If you do have questions, please go out to the irs.gov website or any of the tax advisor websites that are out there. TurboTax.com has some good information. H&R Block, of course, has great info. Any of the tax advisory companies out there have great info on the web. Go to your local CPAs, local accountants, local bookkeepers. Ask those folks to help you out, and they will be more than happy to give you the information that you need.